Jai Ho, my dear students, I am Ratnakar Suryamshi from SK Public School. In the last class, we have learnt about what? We have learnt about the first key feature of the Indian Constitution, and that was, which one that is? That was federalism. We have already learnt about federalism, the first key feature of the Indian Constitution. That was, which one? Federalism. It was the first one, right? So today we will learn the second as well as third also we will take. See, the second key feature of the Indian Constitution is the parliamentary form of government. Which one? Parliamentary form of government. So the parliamentary form of government, it is the second key feature of the India. You know that the various tiers of the government, has or have the representatives who are elected by the people. I mean, various tiers of the government have the representatives who are elected by the people of India. For example, three tiers we can consider. First, central government, second, state, and third one, local government or local self-government. So to these, all the three types of the governments, representatives are there, and those representatives are elected by whom? By the people. The Indian Constitution guarantees the universal adult franchise or universal suffrage to all the citizens of India, those who are aged above the 18 years. Those who are aged above the 18 years, to all those people, our Indian Constitution guarantees the universal suffrage or universal adult franchise. Universal suffrage or universal adult franchise means right to vote, right to cast vote. So this right is given by the Constitution to all the adult people or adult citizens of our country. And see, when the writers, when our leaders, when they were writing the Constitution, when they were drafting or making the Constitution, the members of the Constituent Assembly felt that the freedom struggle had prepared the masses for universal adult franchise or suffrage, and that would encourage a democratic mindset. And this would bring an end to the various superstitious practices which were there in India. For example, caste system, or it may be gender hierarchies or the class hierarchies. To all these problems, the participation of the people or providing right to people to cast their vote, this would put an end to all these things in India. Because of this, in this way, our writers of the Constitution gave us universal adult suffrage or universal adult franchise, or we call right to vote, right to cast vote. This is given to us. And even see that this means that the people of India in our country, all the people of India they can directly participate in the day-to-day decision-making system of the government by electing their representatives. Which means the people of India can participate, can directly play their role in electing their representatives. Through electing their representatives, our people of country, our Indian people can play the role in the decision-making system of our country. And also, every citizen of our country, irrespective of his or her social background, can also contest in elections. Which means irrespective of caste, creed, gender, or religion or the family background, etc., all the people of India can contest in elections. So this right is also given. And these representatives are acceptable to the people, as well as these representatives are mainly accountable to the people. I mean, The representatives must and should hear the problems, solve the problems of the people. So this is a responsibility of the representatives. So that's why representatives are responsible, accountable to the people. So about this we will learn in the upcoming chapter. More we learn about the role of representatives in the next upcoming chapter. But overall, see, parliamentary form of government means we have three tiers of governments, and to all those tiers of the governments there are representatives, those who are directly elected by the people, and our constitution guarantees us the right to vote or universal suffrage to all the citizens. And why it was given? Because of the thought of the members of the Constituent Assembly, right? So about these all we have learned. Now the third key feature of the Indian Constitution, that is separation of power. Which one that is? Separation of which one? Powers. Separation of powers. It is the third. It is separation of powers. It is the third main key feature of the Indian Constitution. See here, separation means, you know that, see, our government, according to the Indian Constitution, there are three organs to the government. Government has three organs. Which are those three organs? See, government has three organs, right? Then which are those three organs? You know, first one, legislature. Which one? First one, legislature. Second, which one? Executive. Second one, executive. And third one, judiciary. Which one? Judiciary. So these are the three main organs of the government. These are the three organs of the government: legislature, executives, and judiciary. These are the three main organs of the government. See, the legislature refers to our elected representatives. I mean, our elected representatives, whom we have elected as our leaders, as our representatives. Those are the part of legislature. They all together make legislature, our representatives. And the executive, it is a small number of people who are appointed by the government. And these executive, this executive is responsible for the implementing the laws and running the government. Executive's main duty is to implementing the laws and running the government. It is the main responsibility of executive. And what is judiciary? See, judiciary we will learn in the next class also, but here we have to understand it is a system of courts of our country. It is the system of courts of our country, providing justice, giving us justice, nyaya. It is the main responsibility of judiciary. Then see, as I told you, legislature is made by whom? Our elected representatives, which means the main function of the legislature is to make laws. Which are good for the welfare of the people of our country. Okay, so these are the three organs of the government, and among these three organs of the government only the powers are divided. The powers are divided or distributed among these three organs of the government in India. And even see here, important point, in our country, to prevent the misuse of power by any one branch of the government, the Constitution says that each of these organs could exercise different powers. Through this, each organ acts as a check on the other organ of the government, and also ensures the balance of power between all these three organs of the government. What happens here? The powers have been distributed among these three organs of the government. Why? Because to prevent to prevent the misuse of the power, by any one branch or any one organ of the government. Powers have been distributed among these three organs, as well as our constitution says that these organs could exercise different powers. These organs have their own different powers, and through this what happens is each organ acts as a check on other organs of the government. Through this, by exercising their own powers, each organ acts as a check, means controller of the other organs of the government, as well as it ensures the balance of power between all these three organs. See, judiciary, it is an independent organ of the government. Judiciary is an independent organ of the government. It doesn't have any influence of executive or legislature. I feel you understood the third main key feature of the Indian Constitution, that is the separation of powers. So these are the three important key features of the Indian Constitution. Remaining two we will learn in the next class. Thank you. Jai Hind.